Great news coming in regard to a monorail train that was stranded early this morning. This was a train in the Wadala area which came to a grinding halt due to technical glitches with 15 to 20 passengers that were stranded. However, all passengers were shifted to another monorail. This is the second such an incident has taken place in less than a month's time. In August, 582 passengers were stranded for 3 hours. That caused suffocation to some passengers. They needed, in fact, some kind of medical assistance as well. They were being treated for suffocation. But this time around, there were about 15 to 20 people. This wasn't a case of overcrowding. This was a technical issue that led to the grinding halt of the monorail service in the Wadala area of Mumbai. However, those people have, in fact, the ones who were stranded were taken out of the monorail, and then there was another monorail in which they carried on with their journey. In order to know more on this in regard to these back-to-back issues that the monorail service, particularly in Mumbai, is having an issue, well, we have Anuj, my colleague, joining us from Wadala, where this incident took place. Well, Anuj, last time around it was overcrowding. There was a problem of weight. Now, this time around, take us through the issue behind this glitch.
Literally moments ago, the monorail that was down because of the glitches and was not moving for the last 1.5 hours, just moved from the place from where it was stuck. The place or the region of the monorail route or the part of it that you see on your screen right now is the same part where the monorail was stuck for close to 1.5 hours, as you read out the official details that were provided to us by the MMRDA. But after a span of close to 1.5 hours, the monorail has finally moved to the closest, that is the GTB station. It is important to note that, as you said earlier, this instance is very similar to what had happened in the month of August, where more than 550 passengers were stranded for more than 2.5 hours right here, in Top Hill, which is the very next station from where I'm standing at the very moment, and that led to an extremely high amount of inconvenience being caused to the people. Now today, as we've been reporting since morning, the rainfall has been continuing since midnight, that too in heavy intensity. However, the intensity has gone down by a slight bit in the last few hours, but the rainfall still continues very much. And one can see that monorail, which is often considered to be the most vulnerable mode of transport here in Mumbai, given the lack of resources that the MMRDA has as far as monorail is concerned, often becomes the primary suspect, or primary victim of this entire of the rainfall or of any sort of a natural situation that arises here out of Mumbai. But just to make sure that situation like August does not repeat itself, one can see that the authorities have taken have taken a few measures. They have, as we speak right now, they have stopped the monorail movement southwards as far as monorail is concerned. However, the monorail movement towards the north of the city, that is towards Chembur and the other areas, is still on. But given the technical glitches that the monorail is facing at the very moment, one can see that the southward movement of the monorail has been stopped. More importantly, it is also crucial for us to note that the next 3 hours are going to be very...
The monorail that has now started, this was the monorail that had come to that grinding halt early this morning. And like Anuj was pointing out, it has been an hour and a half since it remained stuck. But now, Anuj, we can see visuals of that monorail that has restarted. What kind of lessons have been learned because of what really took place in the month of August?
Sorry, pardon, I didn't hear you.
Right, Anuj, get us details, because the monorail has now started. It had come to a grinding halt due to technical glitches, unlike the last time around, which was because of overcrowding, and weight was a problem and an issue which had left over 582 people that was stranded for over 3 hours. But there seems to be some sort of lessons that I've learned, because everything this time around has happened rather faster.
Well, yes, that is one way to look at it. But as I said earlier, monorail has really been in the middle of a lot of controversies, because even after the last glitch that happened in the month of August, we did an extensive report while talking to the people who use monorail on a regular basis. And one of the constant complaints that the people had was the fact that monorail is not very regular. In fact, when it is compared to the other modes of transport here in the city, be it the local train or the metros which are coming up here in the city, they are considered to be very timely. But monorail, even if it is not raining or even if there is no technical glitch, makes people wait for close to 30 to 45 minutes, which is an excruciatingly long time, right? So monorail, even without rainfall or without any technical glitches, has been in the middle of a lot of controversies, and MMRDA definitely has a lot of questions to answer regarding it.